The quarterback position will come into focus now in Denver, where George Paton, longtime Vikings executive, most
Yeah.
recently assistant general manager, is the new GM. He had been with Minnesota since 2007. Um, uh, Look, I know Broncos fans are really happy about this development, but while we're on the topic of quarterbacks, Peyton was with the Vikings from 2007 through 2020. And other than Brett Favre falling into their laps, it hasn't exactly been a murderer's row at quarterback for the Vikings. And look, you never know. And this is a point Shereen Williams made last night on PFTPM. When you hire a GM, you never really know what the guy did in his prior jobs. He was part of a broader structure. Maybe he was the weak link. I don't know. Who's he advocating on draft day? Is he advocating guys that they're picking and are great? Is he advocating guys who they're picking and aren't great? Is he advocating guys they didn't pick who ended up being great somewhere else? I don't know how much of that you can ever reconstruct after the fact unless someone is there taking copious notes every step of the way. Oh,
Sure.
let's see. Rick Spielman liked Kirk Cousins, and George Paton said we should go draft Baker Mayfield. They wouldn't have gotten Mayfield, but you get my point.
Yeah, I got you.
But I'm saying all this because quarterback is such a critical position
Yeah.
for the Denver Broncos right now. Absolutely critical. They just moved on by giving him a promotion, by all appearances, even though it's not, from a Hall of Fame quarterback who couldn't find a quarterback other than when Peyton Manning fell into his lap. And I know that everybody wanted him. And look, having a Hall of Fame quarterback GM made it easier to speak the same language and get Peyton Manning. But here's my point. Minnesota Vikings, 2007 through the present, have had a hard time finding great quarterbacks. Before that, Peyton was the director of pro personnel with the Dolphins from 2001 through 2006 in the early years of the revolving door of crap post Dan Marino. Now, he's director of pro personnel. Doesn't mean he's making the decisions, but he's in the trust tree of this front office that's groping to find a decent quarterback. And then before that, he was with the Bears when they drafted Cade McNown. Who? Exactly. So I just, all I'm saying about any of this, because I think George Payton's going to be great, but don't assume he's just going to walk through the door and have the answer at quarterback, because the Vikings haven't had the answer at quarterback since the 1 year that Brett Favre was good with them.
Yeah, well, okay, I know. You've had some good there. I mean, Kirk Cousins is not a slouch. Let's not go crazy on that. He was the quarterback of your, top 5 offense in football this year and, can make plays. I know he's not a superstar, but it's still a pretty damn good quarterback. Okay, now the rest of it, you're right. It's real. It's not that easy to evaluate these guys and get the right guy all the time. And I think you said it too, he's not in charge of making those final decisions a lot of the time. So we don't know where they are, where he was. Who knows? Maybe he liked some guys that we turned out to be stars, but like you said, somebody above him didn't see it that way, and they went another direction. But it is a real conversation with the Denver Broncos. I don't think he has to worry about it per se this year. I do think Drew Lock did enough to earn the right to come back next year and see if he's the guy, but it's got to be on your radar to think, okay, Drew Lock, we go through halfway through the year and we see, whoa, he's not the guy. It's too many interceptions. It's just too raw. Then, yeah, they're going to have to start looking at college kids and start going down that, avenue once again to drafting a quarterback or finding their next Peyton Manning and having just another free agent proven guy come in there. We'll see. It's going to be a big year. This will be it for Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock, of course, he's going to have a chance to be the starter, but I would think that they bring in a pretty high-level backup this year for insurance for a Drew Lock. Vic Fangio, this is a huge year for him. He can't, have a team that's pretty damn good and have some young quarterback screwing it all up, and we saw Drew Lock do that a little bit last year. So I think he's going to want to have a guy there that's a little bit proven to where, all right, pull the string. We're going to play this way. You get in there. I could trust you and do that. But it's a big conversation, no doubt, Mike.
And George Payton's had plenty of opportunities over the years. He's consistently rebuffed them. Why did he take this one? Because there's a sense that the Broncos are in a weird kind of a spot here. What's going to happen with ownership? Are they going to sell the team? The 6-year deal that he signed gives him financial protection against the possibility of the team being sold and a new owner saying we want a different GM.
That's right.
And also, this John Elway thing, he's in the last year of his contract. This, to me, and based on some things I've heard, he's done after this year.
Okay.
Most likely.
Right.
So if it goes well
Yeah.
for George Paton, he becomes John Elway next year.
There you
if
go.
they don't hire a new VP of football operations or president of football operations, that it's going to be George Paton running the football operations if it all goes well. And we'll see. And I don't know what it means for it all to go well, but not having a losing record for the 5th straight year would seem to be the most basic objective for a team that hadn't had back-to-back losing seasons for 40-plus years before they fell into a hole a few years ago.
No doubt. They're not far off. That's the one thing I'll say. I know it says 5-11, but I don't know if you agree with this now, but let's not forget, no Cortland Sutton this year. I would say he was probably the best player on their offense. They missed him. Von Miller, not there all year long either. You know, they had a few other injuries, too, that hurt their football team. At full strength, I look at them and, you know, a few additions and the rookies getting a year older and all that. I go, the Broncos could be one of those teams next year we're talking about going, didn't make the playoffs last year. This year, they're right in the thick of things and have a chance to make it. I would not be surprised if we were there.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.